What's up, everybody? Ben Rasa and Eric Lindquist here for Odd Shopper, and we are back. More PGA betting picks. It's a team event. We're a team. We've got TGA guys pairing up for the Zurich Classic. Normally, I feel like back in the day, we didn't have a ton of things to do with this event. It was almost an off week, but that has changed our DFS contest and certainly in the betting markets. There are value and plays to be had. If you're hopping in for the first time, checking out the stream, you want to support us? Easiest way, hit the like button, and more importantly, join 7,500 of your friends and press subscribe. Join the community. No reason not to. We've got a ton of content across all sports. But sir, I just want your quick thoughts. Do you like this event?
Love it. As an amateur golfer, that four-ball events or two-man events kind of are a specialty. Qualified for a USGA event in the four-ball category. I'm somebody who makes a lot of birdies, and you have a partner that can pick up the slack if you make bogeys. That's kind of a good feeling to be out there playing golf. Adds a little bit more of a laid-back field, even though when you get two exemptions, when you have two guys playing for something, it can end up being a life-changing type event for some of these guys on the bottom end who aren't some of the studs. No
doubt. That is a cool aspect of it. You get some wacky pairings, some of the elites with some of the guys that it could be a life changer. Then you get some strong pairings. I don't play golf, but when I do, it's in some type of scramble where my shots don't have to count. So I do appreciate that format. Some of my boys in this event probably will have the same fate, but let's dive into the board. Here we go. So as you can see, we got a couple bets here. We're going to go through them. First one's mine. Cantlay and Xander, 8-1. I know it's short. It's been around that number. You can find a little better out there. I just think they're the strongest team. I really do. I know that Xander is probably a question mark, but at the same time, yes, I was frustrated. He had one birdie in 2 days at Augusta. You were there. You saw it.
I was aware.
Just absolutely brutal for various reasons. But it's still Xander. He has a long track record of being extremely solid. Cantlay didn't do anything in the Masters. And then we said, possibly a good play at Heritage. Boom, lost in the playoff. Was fantastic there. They can drive it. They can putt it. They have Ryder Cup experience. I think they are the favorites. I know that Hovland and Morikawa also an extremely dangerous team. But if I'm looking for one team, if you're only making one bet, you want a realistic shot, I think that Patrick Cantlay and Xander are worth your money.
Absolutely. I hard to really argue against them being the best team, and you're getting 8-1. They're going to be on my card. I'm going to be more inclined to take some short odd shots on some of these guys on the top end of the board, more so than most weeks. I like to be getting the best values on the board. Well, value be damned to a certain extent when you have Cantlay and Schauffele teaming up together. But that's also kind of the way that I feel about Sam Burns and Billy Horschel at 12-1. These are two Bermuda specialists. Sam Burns, we know his prowess. If you just group by DK points over the last 50 rounds, 7,500 rounds in any kind of a strokes gained data spot, Sam Burns is number one in DK points on Bermuda grass. Another aspect, on the other side, Billy Horschel has won this golf tournament. We know his prowess in Florida, and obviously this is Louisiana and the Zurich, but he's won on this golf course as an individual. I don't think that can be overlooked. So I love the Cantlay Schauffele call. I think that they're going to be on my card as well. It's kind of a choice between Palmer and Scheffler and Burns Horschel for me. I'm getting a little bit better number with Burns Horschel, so that's why I'm landing there.
I get it. You know, it's an interesting dynamic and something that we've talked about, and we talked about on Putting for Dough on this very channel. If you're interested in a more longer format video, you have two different schools of thought. Sometimes it's like, I want guys that are carbon copies of each other, so you're hitting your second shot from an area that you're probably used to. Then on the flip side, it's like, well, if one guy can do something wildly different, you can be really aggressive at times and you can work off your partner. I think Burns and Billy Ho are more the latter. They're both aggressive. They can pick each other up and they can really score. Alternate shot could be a problem at times if they don't have it, but when you're talking about an outright north of 10-1, as much as it pains me, I'm not the biggest Sam Burns guy. I get why he's on your card. The nice thing about this video, we don't talk about our picks beforehand. I asked you, okay, what do you want to do for the last one? And your last pick is my last pick as well. 130-1 to win the event. But if you want, again, to either ladder it or get a little more conservative, you have Beau, Hossler, and Theegala at 7-1 for a top 10. We have both been on them, at various times in the DFS market. They have both been extremely close to breaking through. Why not, as a pairing, put them in the betting card at huge odds?
Yeah, I have them on the betting card plus 130, but then also I think the conservative top 10 feels like something I also want to have a piece of. These are two guys both from Southern California. They are the guys that I competed against and knocked my brains out, and now they're playing together. This just makes too much sense as a pairing. They're both very familiar with each other here in the Southern California region. I still believe that a lot of the best amateurs, number one players in the world for world amateurs, are coming out of Southern California. And now they get an opportunity to play together. And I talk about guys who have a lot to play for together. Both of them have shown flashes, whether it's Hossler a number of times throughout the season, Theegala in Arizona at the Waste Management. They have winnability together. They do. And it doesn't necessarily, it's the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, I think. And this might be the team that stands out the most in that regard. Two players I've been high on constantly. I think I'm going to be high on again this week.
Yeah, so I think the difference clearly, and this is why we're talking about a different price range, is that when these guys don't have it, they are not competitive. And we saw Beau Hossler at Heritage. It wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Theegala at times has struggled, but you're going to get that. We're not really as worried. We're trying to tap in to the ceilings, and both of these guys have shown, I mean, Beau Hossler's putting is electric at times. Theegala certainly has the skills to compete on tour. 7-1 for a top 10, the top 33 teams make the cut. I think this is the type of thing, if they can find that weekend, there's no reason they cannot go low elite scores. The downside is awful, but we're still talking about a plus 700 ticket. I mean, that's almost the same number that I'm getting on Xander and Cantlay to win the entire event. So although I love 130-1 and I will splash that, 7-1 is still a very nice payout. Even if that's the only thing you hit, you're probably coming out ahead in this week's Zurich.
I love it, and it's nice to land on the same team as you here in this spot. But really, it's looking. That's what makes this event so special, is that you can find some teams down here at the bottom of the board to get some top 10 equity, and then obviously we can ride our horses at the top end, where it's very hard for me to imagine a world where Cantlay and Schauffele, Hovland and Morikawa, where those guys aren't going to be competitive. So it's a little bit better than betting minus 110s in the old USFL market or something.
Everything is better than that. Hit us in the comments. Let us know, which team do you think is dangerous? Is it the HV3 Bubba? Is it the Chileans, who I do really like at 25-1? We want to know what you guys are thinking, but we've got Cantlay and Xander. We've got Burns and Billy Ho, and then a long shot, Hossler and Theegala, top 10, top 5 outrights. A lot of mix and matching for me, for Eric, for everybody at OddsShopper. Good luck. Enjoy the Zurich Classic. And of course, stay tuned for even more betting content across all the sports on this same channel. Good luck, and we'll talk to you guys soon.